This bulkhead is solid on mine, but some of them are hinged at the bottom, this area, and will drop down where I've got these and rest into here, and this is the pattern where they rest up to, so the bulkhead will fall down. And the idea of that bulkhead falling down onto those areas is it covers this back section here, so your feet from these berths would go underneath these ones, and there would be a bed in this area here, which is the bulkhead drop down with cushions on it. But then you lose such valuable storage with that bulkhead, because it's amazing, the storage. Mound of junk, and it's a mound, it's all inside that bulkhead cupboard. So that is where I keep all my bits and bobs, including, there's a dinghy down there, tables, all the sleeping stuff, bags, covers, sails, just about everything goes in here. After taking a bit of the junk out, this is how I can keep the stuff up and still inside. I put stainless bars up either side, which allow you to shove sleeping bags and jam them in the top. I put a little bit of loose shelving up there, which the shelves could bang out if you wanted to, but I cram them full of soft materials, the blankets and things. And that one up there is for the anchor locker, but the anchor chain stows down there in that one. And of course the wharf as well. That's the filler pipe for the water tank. Water tank is in this one. Oh, sorry, everything else. If I can have a dig down. There's the water tank. There's plastic type. There's fuel cans down there. And towels, as you can see. And the system is, that's a breather one-way valve that just allows air into the tank, which keeps the system as a closed system otherwise. So you'll just get air goes in there when you use water up, and it fills from the deck. So that's the size of the storage. These sheep buckles are brilliant. Yeah, wang them up. And then these doors are solidly closed, and nothing's going to enter or exit there unless you want it to while you're out at sea. And that should keep the cabin tidy. Lots of choices. You can sleep anywhere around. She's quite big. She's 6'4" that way, land-wise, and she's 72, 5 foot wide. 72, 6 foot wide, 6 foot wide. Easy to do. These areas I cut out myself because this is good storage back here, although there was self-tappers in there that's come out and have rivets replaced in them so that nothing that was in there would catch it. And on the end down there I had to have a piece of wood made put in the end to stop anything falling out down there where you wouldn't be able to retrieve it. But you can put all your clothes in there when you're sailing, and I've done them both sides. And I just used ice cream tub lids to mark them out and cut them with a jigsaw. At the end of the berth there's two little tie points here, so you can put anything you want to there and tie it in, which will keep it in that point in the berth. On this one there's a flop down table which or flop up for you to make tea or put tea on or something like that. And just on the other side there's just a bit of string which goes on a little hook there, and that's the table. The main table fits on this pole, and when you come with the boat it's quite a big table and fills the whole area. It's too big for me, and also it swung at the tops and I was worried about it hitting the sides in heavy seas because it was only clamped onto this post. There was nothing to hold it and stop it from swinging, although the clamp could be quite tight. This is the original Cornish Crabber's bracket that comes with it, which clamps to it. It's quite a good bracket, but I had to put a little screw in here because otherwise it used to work with the old table. It would work down while you were sailing with movement, and it'd always be on a downward movement, so it doesn't go any further down now. Now this is just a knock-up table. I knocked that one up because it fitted nicely against the back there and sat in so that it wouldn't go anywhere when I was sailing. When I was in port I could put it in the centre and sit either side of it, but it would make a good table just there for doing any work I wanted to do if I wasn't using the chart table. When going to bed at night time I could often leave the table there while I was in bed and even swing it out the way and use it to watch television on while sitting back against these cushions over here. And when you're actually ready to go to bed you just slid it up the post to the top of the post there and left it locked off at the top for the night. Best of all worlds. Right, this is the galley area. It's only got the one port light there, which I find quite insufficient for light around this area. It's not as bright as I'd like it to be. The food stowage is top shelf, which goes back to the outside of the boat, which is quite deep. You're not going to get a lot in there, and the bottom shelf has got quite big storage space to it, so you can get quite a decent amount in there, certainly bigger items. And underneath at the back behind the cooker, oops, if I bobble the kettle off, put another shelf system down there which holds all your jars and the likes and keeps them all in tow. The cooker itself is gimbaled, has a toaster and doesn't have a great deal of room underneath it, but it has a hot plate on it and you can lock it in place while underway there, and there's a smash and grab bar if you're doing anything while you're cooking or what have you, but there's no safety strap on it to put around you to keep you in place. But the chart table's behind you, and with your feet across you can lock yourself in and you're going nowhere. You've got a good rigid space when the weather's bad. And down below is your pan cupboard where I keep me pans and pots and things. There's loads of space in there to be covered, and there's the seacock for the heads exit over there. Sorry, I missed out that there's stowage under this bench. There's stowage under this bench, and there's a huge stowage under the front there which I keep as my tool room and keep all my tools and things in it because it's central and it keeps the weight down low. This is the heads. There's hanging in the heads, so that provides my wet locking area. There's ventilation in the heads and there's a porthole. Light sufficient-ish in the heads. Portholes don't give a brilliant light. Cages by the way of holding things up, and there is one shelf system at the back over yonder, and I've even seen some models have had a sink fitted in the shelf system there, although that I think that might be just a waste of space. The heads themselves are simple, but headroom is limited inside because the floor is up a couple of inches on the cabin, probably about 6 or 8, so that you would be stooped in there. But as you're normally sitting down, it's not a problem. And it is enclosed, so once the door's closed, it's quite good, quite cool. Companionway steps. There's actually, from when you consider 1, 2, and that 1/3 one out, they are 3 quite big steps because they're over 4 foot the distance, so the stride is quite big on them. That's probably a little bit of a niggle, but not much. The steps, and you've got the engine. I like the engine installation. It's a lovely engine. It's in lovely condition. The seacock's where you can get it. It's got a nice drain system underneath it, which the floor actually leans this way, so that if anything drips down it runs to the front. And what I do is I put an oil catcher there, an ice cream tub, and just leave them down there, and if anything's going to end up down there they're going to get caught, and that's how I'd know if I had any leaks or drips. I did get a drip however off the pump, and it was a seal at the back, so I took the pump off, and that's why there's fresh paint on these things, and a bit wasted on here, but it gets a little bit of rust on there. Replaced the seal and the pump's been fine since, but it's common on Yanmars for the pumps to leak at the seal. I suppose it is on them all anyway, but a nice motor. This hole down here is the quarter berth. I keep the outside table, the wind vane bits, life jackets and stuff, but never used the quarter berth. There is a bookcase there with my books in, which is quite good, and then there's the fridge there. I have a single cushion here, but I've got all the cushions that run all the way back. I just don't use them, just this single top cushion to sit down on when I'm either at the chart table or just doing a little bit by the door here. I put this envelope hole in, like a letterbox, which goes all the way back under there, which will take charts rolled up full size, and then the electrics cupboard, which is my switch gear, all there, sale number, and if you move that out the way, neat wiring, as it should be. Large space in there, so there's a lot of area if you need to stow anything, but the only thing I keep in there is the electrical stuff, which is in that tub there. Out the way with that. And then there's a top shelf there to put your electrics in, VHF, AIS. The second speaker is mounted back there, so I have a bit of volume, but it doesn't seem to do very much. Battery indicators and GPS, and I just junk anything else through the gap between, mostly things you need to hand, like wooden pegs and knife and stuff like that, so you know exactly where they are. There's a couple of hooks on the back there for hanging jackets up, and there's two port lights. The port lights provide sufficient light, I'd say, around this area, but what I really would like, there's one or two opening port lights in the boat, and there's none. There's 6 port lights, 1 hatch up the top, and that's all the light that you get in the boat. And there's 2 port lights, should I say, in the doors when you close the doors, but they're only small and provide tons of light. The kettle's going, so I'll just switch that off. I know the whistle's not down on it, but let's just keep things quiet. This is my chart table. That's the seat for the chart table, and on the chart table there's a back I put on here, and I put this handrail in here because I felt the boat was missing a handrail. Now it's got these ones which are cut into the wood down here, but they're not of, well, I didn't find them of a comfortable method of moving through the boat when the sea was pretty poor, whereas you can grab this and go to the forward one if you've got to go to the forward locker for anything, or just move into the boat for anything. You've got a firm grip on that one. The back of this chart table, the back of the chart table raises up, and you've got a cool storage box there for food. Not that you can see much in there, but it just flips and drops back down, and under the other one you've got a sink. They weren't hinged when I got them, they used to fall off when the weather were bad and just end up on the floor, so I put hinges on them. It's easy to use the sink with the hinge, it doesn't get in the way, and the one thing it does provide is a splashback, and you need a splashback because before I got round to hanging tea towels and things on there, when you finish the dishes this seat was always wet. So it's quite a sensible idea to put that back on there as a splashback, and the reason for that is I'm going to put a navigation kit along there for when you're sitting there, like a GPS and what have you, but I have not got round to it. Below the chart table there's drinking water. That's not the tank water from the front, which is the boat water. It's a separate drinking water, so you know you can just put a glass underneath here and make yourself a quick drink when you want to while you're out and have a drink of water. Underneath you've got your bin stuck to your door, just lifts off, goes back on. Doesn't come off in a seaway because it rests flush there. There's 2 seacocks at the back. There's a lot of room goes back there, and you can go around the corner, and the hoover and things around the corner. Hoover now, but I clean all my cleaning stuff underneath there, and the filter system for the water, so that the water that comes out doesn't get any nasties from the tank. There's also an amount of ballast built in underneath that one as well. This is a counter reaction ballast, I think. It's underneath there, and there's partially in this store here. The top one's just a cutlery drawer, standard cutlery drawer, and they're all on press buttons so they don't fly open while you're sailing.